Welcome, everybody. College Football Week 1 is in the books, and we're looking forward to College Football Week 2. I'm Joe at the Game House, and today we're going to take a look at NFL draft prospects to watch in College Football Week 2. All right, as mentioned, we're going to take a look today at NFL draft prospects to watch in College Football Week 2. There's actually a decent amount of good games for Week 2 to watch, and excited to see some big programs go at it, some under-the-radar programs go at it in this Week 2. But let's get it started with the number one player to watch this week, number one NFL draft prospect to watch this week. It is Quinn Ewers, the quarterback out of Texas. You know, they got a win over Rice. It didn't always look pretty, but they won 37-10. Quinn Ewers went 19 of 30 passing, 260 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He also had a rushing touchdown. If you remember last year, these two teams played. We're watching Texas, Alabama for this one. They played last year. Quinn Ewers looked good, and then he got hurt and was kind of, not able to play the rest of the game and kind of looked like he was hurt the rest of the year. But what I'm looking for in this game against Alabama is he's got supreme arm talent. He's been kind of this almost like prophecy that he'd come save a program. He went to Ohio State, transferred to Texas. There were a lot of expectations. He's got, like I said, the great arm talent can help him make any NFL throw. He's got to be more consistent with his accuracy. He's got to read the defense and get the ball to open guys. And the thing is, he has a talented wide receiver room, like maybe one of the most talented wide receiver rooms in the whole sport. And I think he should be able to do it. So he's going up against Alabama, very tough defense. And I think if he has a good game, it could solidify him as a first-round pick. His tools are there, but maybe the accuracy and the consistency that you want to see a quarterback play with and make decision-making as well, maybe that's not all the way there. So this is a huge weekend for Quinn Ewers. He's a guy who could really move his stock up or kind of keep it at that, you might be a first-round pick, but it's just because of your tools. So we're going to be interested to find out what he does in this game. Number 2, also in the Texas-Alabama game, it's Kool-Aid McKinstry. He helped Alabama go 1-0 against Middle Tennessee. They won 56-7. The defense had a particularly impressive performance. We've heard this offseason from Nick Saban that Alabama's going to be playing joyless murder ball, where they're going to run the ball a lot, play tough defense, something they got away from the last couple of years when they had Bryce Young at quarterback. And you can't really blame them because Bryce Young is pretty good, but this team's going to focus on the strengths of that defense on the offensive line. And one of the biggest strengths is Kool-Aid McKinstry. Now, he's going to have to do a lot of work against Texas because they do have that talented wide receiver room and Quinn Ewers throwing him the ball, and they did look good last year. So I think he's a good athlete with good quickness, but he does tend to give up the big plays. There's questions about his long speed, something he'll maybe be able to answer here. And this game will give him a chance to test himself against a really good passing attack. Alabama plays a lot of good teams, but this might be one of the most talented receiver rooms to go up against, one of the most talented quarterbacks to go up against this year. So it'll be interesting to see what Kool-Aid McKinstry does in Week 2 against against Texas. Leonard Taylor is the next one up. He is the defensive lineman for Miami. Didn't have too much of an impact in their Week 1 game, in the box score at least, over Miami, Ohio. They won 38-3, but he was a little bit disruptive, and a lot of the good play of the defense stemmed a lot from what Leonard Taylor did. This week, Miami plays Texas A&M. You might remember these two teams played last year too. Miami was kind of having a down year. Texas A&M had a down year, especially with their offense. So Leonard Taylor has a chance to really put a big stamp on this game. The Aggies think they maybe have their offense fixed from last year. They scored 52 points, I believe, against New Mexico. But in order for Miami to win, they're going to need to slow this offense down and give their offense a chance to retaliate, respond. And I think Leonard Taylor is the key here. He's very athletic. He shows good burst at the snap of the ball, solid athleticism. He hasn't shown great power or length in his career, but if he can attack gaps and be disruptive, Miami might win this game, and he may take a little boost up in the stock. Currently, he's seen, all these guys so far are seen as possible first-round picks, so you want to be able to solidify that stock with an early season matchup against a team that has some talented players. We're sticking with that Miami-Texas A&M game. There's big programs. You're going to see a lot of prospects over the field. We're going to go McKinley Jackson for the Texas A&M Aggies. They do have some offensive linemen you can look at as well, and we're going to do 5 players each week, so maybe we'll get some of those offensive linemen later in the year. But specifically, we don't know how good the offense is going to perform, but if that defense performs at Texas A&M, you can put some pressure on Miami. They looked like they had a bounce-back win, beating New Mexico, as mentioned, they 52-10. Offense looks like it took a step forward, but that defense has a lot of skilled players. They have a lot of good recruiting classes that came in the last couple of years. Jackson had a tackle last week for them in the opener. We know defensive linemen don't always have that show up in the box score. Their impact show up in the box score. So that's very encouraging that he's been disruptive without having it like all the way show up in the box score. I think he can impact the game by taking on multiple blockers or pushing the pocket in this one. And a good game can help him. He's more of like a mid-round pick, I think, seen as right now. But if he plays well in this game against Miami, which has some good players, like even Javian Cohen, who transferred in from Alabama, if he can have a good game, attack gaps, really push the pocket, I think he could help his stock move up a round or two. Obviously, there's a whole long season to go, and we'll be playing against a lot of offensive lines. But I think he's the key for this game for Texas A&M against Miami. And then the last one, Sincere Haynesworth, the interior offensive lineman for Tulane, he actually plays center, helped Tulane make the New Year's Six Bowl last year. They beat USC, and they're coming into this season riding high. So they opened the season with a 37-17 win in Week 1 over South Alabama, a team that a lot of people I think would have a pretty good season this year. They have Michael Pratt back at quarterback, which is important, but they also got Sincere Haynesworth back on the offensive line. He helped them in their first week have 294 passing yards, 142 rushing yards. And in Week 2, they host Ole Miss. Tulane really wants to play well in this one. They want to be able to upset Ole Miss. There's obviously the old history of Tulane used to be in the SEC, and now they're not. Ole Miss is known for their offense, but they do have some talented defenders as well. And this might be the best chance all year that Haynesworth has to show that he's talented enough to be an NFL draft pick. Right now, he's probably seen as a late round draft pick to undrafted free agent, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's undersized comparative to other draft eligible centers. But he's played well in his career. He's earned accolades for the All AAC teams, and I think he could be a guy to watch this season. But this is a huge game for him to build his stock. Again, we don't want to always just focus on the big school guys. We want to focus on some of the smaller schools. It's going to be hard to fit everyone. All these players in that could go in the NFL draft, but we're going to try to do our best to kind of mix it up here, not just the same positions every week. Some big schools, some small schools when we have the chance. So let me know who you think we should have gone over in these top 5 draft prospects to watch this weekend. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.